This is the Southside School of Financial Freedom Market Report and Small Account Update for the week ending February 3rd, 2024. The market finished higher last week. The Dow Jones Industrial Average increased 0.35% on Friday and was up 1.43% for the week. The S&P 500 increased 1.07% on Friday and was up 1.38% for the week. The Nasdaq increased 1.74% on Friday and was up 1.12% for the week. Looking at the week, we can see that there were 10 up finishes versus 5 down finishes for the major indexes. On Monday and Thursday, all the major indexes finished up. On Tuesday, the Dow Jones Industrial Average finished up, while the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq finished down. On Wednesday, all the major indexes ended down. And on Friday, they all finished up again. How did you do? My small account finished higher, 4.6%, and generated cash flow. Even when the market falls and or my account doesn't do well, I still get income or cash flow by selling covered calls and naked puts. This method does not only guarantee cash flow or income, it can also beat the S&P 500. I don't use charts, I don't use fundamental analysis, I don't use indicators or signals, and I definitely don't sit in front of a computer screen all day to watch the market. I simply choose a stock from my watch list to sell covered calls and or naked puts. I do have 5 criteria for choosing stocks to put on my trading watch list. I will not reveal what my criteria are, but if you examine my list, you may be able to figure out the criteria for yourself. The last row, however, is my benchmark row. That is, I measure my performance against gold, silver, and the S&P 500. I choose the stock option based on whether I own the stock or I would like to own the stock. I choose a strike price, an expiration date, a bid, and I submit a limit order. Then I wait for execution. If the sale does not execute, I may change my order or wait until the next day to submit a new order. Looking at my watch list from last week, we can see that the strongest performer on the list was Lucid Group Incorporated, ticker symbol LCID, in the third column. It was down minus 3.22% on Friday, but increased 24.91% for the week. Lucid Group Incorporated is a technology and automotive company that is focused on designing, developing, manufacturing, and selling electric vehicles or EVs. They also manufacture and sell EV powertrains and battery systems using their own equipment and factories. The company owns their distribution and retail services, their own locations, that is, and they use direct to consumer online retail sales. Looking at a summary of results, you can see that Lucid has decreased minus 21.38% year to date. I did generate cash flow from Lucid this week. I generated cash flow from selling 5 option contracts, 4 calls, and 1 put. That ranged from $3.34 to $40.34. So on Monday, I sold 2 calls, one for $10.34 and one for $40.34. On Thursday, I sold a call for $5.34. And on Friday, I sold a call for $3.34 and a put for $23.34. That's a total of $82.70, which is not a lot of money, but the account is small. And $82.70 in cash flow was 2.16% of my account value. This money is free and clear. You can take it out of your account and spend it or leave it in to build your cash balance or invest it. If you want to increase the amount of cash flow, you just use a larger account. For example, to 10x the cash flow to $827, use a larger account, and instead of selling 1 of everything I sold, sell 10. This strategy is guaranteed to produce cash flow immediately and every week that it is applied. However, it does not guarantee the amount of cash flow from week to week, nor the value of your account. The amount varies and the account value varies. Despite the variations in amount and value, the goal is to generate cash flow and beat the S&P 500. And that is what I am openly showing you every week as it happens. Note, most professional money managers and their strategies do not consistently beat the S&P 500. They lose, and they lose by a lot. Last year, this method beat the S&P 500 by about 12%. But in 2024, my account is down minus 16.02% versus 4.01% up for SPY, which is an S&P 500 ETF. That's a difference of 20.03%. So I am losing to the S&P 500 by almost 20% after the first 5 weeks of the new year. It is not unusual to beat the S&P 500 one year and then lose to the index the next year. Will I befall this same fate? Over the last 2 weeks, my account has cut the deficit a little bit. Will I continue to gain on the S&P 500? Tune in next week to find out. Anyone can learn how to do this with the right knowledge. Bitcoin Watch. Bitcoin gained 2.44% this past week and appears to be in a bull market. Though it is down minus 37.47% from its all-time high, which was achieved in November 2021, it is up 2.53% year to date. Some believe that Bitcoin is really the only long-term investment you need. What do you think? What is your strategy? Do you know how to produce cash flow every week and beat the S&P 500? Or will you simply invest in Bitcoin? Or do both? As you develop, analyze, and implement your strategy, please check back to see how my small account performs against the S&P 500 from week to week by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Thank you.